Hello there, everyone. TheAndrata here, and welcome back to episode 14 of our All the Mods 9 to the Sky Let's Play series, where today is one of my favorite parts of Minecraft. We are getting into auto crafting utilizing applied energistics, and it just makes my life so much easier. Let's get started. Welcome back, friends, to another wonderful day here in the world of TheAndrata, where today, well, we are continuing our progression with Applied Energistics 2. We're going to be setting up some auto crafting, trying to get our assembly tree set up, or assembler tree, and some processors and everything. So yeah, probably going to be a little bit longer of an episode, as they have been the past couple episodes, because there's a lot of stuff to do and get it done. So yeah, let's dive on in and get it going. So yeah, there we go. In between episodes, didn't do terribly too much. I did, as I said, go ahead and set up the wireless connectors in each of our cardinal directions. So each of our little platforms has a wireless connector set up to it. And then underneath here, I set dense cable up to each of the little sub platforms within there. So it's 9 out and then 9 to each platform, gets it right in the middle. So we have channels available to us. We have 32 channels. We can pull a smart cable up, or however in the world we decide to do it. Over here on this side, I have my cable, and then I have my excuse me there. I have my smart cable, just the regular cable running up here to a storage bus, which is hooked up to that drawer that we had mentioned before. So with that, we are able to access all of those blocks that we have being processed inside of our system. Let me go ahead and cook up some of this ancient debris. Since I'm here, why not? That goes into there. But yeah, so we have that going, and that's pretty much all that I've done in that regard, at least. So we set those up there, put them all here. You can see them all set up there. I did go ahead and build us a subfloor in preparation for this system. Elevators are a great mod for stuff like this. Wool and an ender pearl, and it allows you to teleport between different floors. Shift to go down, space to go up. But we come down here, and you're going to see I ran some cables off of 2 of our sides here, and then branched those out. This is going to be our server room. Ooh, we're going to have some server blades, I'm going to call them, sitting down here. And we can fit, at least for now, we can fit 3 server blades per strand that we have going on here. So I think that should be enough processors for our applied energistics setup and everything. We'll see how that works. Honestly, the processor part is what I'm really the most confused on, is how those work and everything like that. Also got some funky texture tearing going on here, by the way. But it kind of looks cool because it looks kind of spacey. Like it looks like stars going on in there. But anyway, so we have this setup going on here, and that's where I want to start, is what we have going on down here. So let's get rid of this because I was just using that for spacing. But what we have going on here is a setup so we can have a 3x3 server blade going on. Stone bricks are going to represent our co-processing units. Cobble is our storage unit, and the dirt is going to be a monitor so we can see what craft is taking place inside of that processor. So if we take a look inside of my backpack, I got a lot going on because I pre-prepped a lot of this stuff because it takes forever to make some of this stuff. Oh, before we do that, let's go take care of that stuff. So for our controllers, I know that we have the UI to kind of see where they are, and we can highlight, but like I use with refined storage, I like to put like a sign on there, so at a glance I could see, okay, this guy's hooked up to my south base, that's east base and everything. And I put signs up, and I'm like, you know what, they just don't look good. It doesn't fit our vibe over here. But I remembered when I played my Enigmatica 6 series, the first series I ever played, I utilized RF tools screens in order to make it look a little bit better. It's just text, essentially, clear text. So I set those up on each of these. So let me talk about how to do so. First things first, you need a screen controller from RF Tools. And your screen controller is going to require power. So we have a starter ender gate set up, and it's just chilling here. It's not doing anything. It's just chilling, but you have to have it. We're going to come over here, and we can place a screen from RF Tools onto the block face that we would like it to face. Not terribly too difficult. Glass, machine base, and iron, and the machine base is just some gold nuggets and some stone. And then we can go ahead and sneak right click to access its GUI, its GUI. So what I have here is 2 text modules. Text modules are fairly cheap. Black dye and paper. I happen to be lucky. Black dye is actually the hardest part to get out of all of this. But I get black dye when sieving blackstone. So I happen to have some black dye from our sieving of blackstone. Which now that I think about it, I haven't been getting any more because I'm not using a golden mesh. The netherite mesh does not get me anymore. I was wondering why I haven't been getting a bunch of black dye. I only had a bit, but if you remember, I had gold meshes set up on these things before I was able to upgrade to the netherite because I needed the blackstone to get to the netherite. So I got some. What does, now I got to think about this. What does crushed blackstone get me with netherite? Because the black dye is the hardest part to get right now. It gets me easnium. Do I need easnium? It also filters out more of those pebbles, but I have the trash can set up there. Raw easnium. Now we have a 10% chance, and that drops that down to a 5%. But you know what? To be honest, I think we'll be okay. I would like more black dye. I don't have enough string. Okay. Well, I'm going to put that on my to-do list because I'm going to need to get a golden mesh. And I don't have string. String is EMCable, but I mean, it's not that big of a deal right now. I already got what I needed from it. So anyway, we're going to come in here. 2 text modules. These guys are going to be set to large center, but they're going to be blank. That's going to add some line breaks down here to center our text in here. Okay. Then we're going to come over here and we're going to call this. This is going to be our southwest. That's our southwest tree. Assembly tree. So we come into here, we're going to go large center, and we're going to say southwest, and then we're going to put our next one in there, assembler. Now, honestly, I would like to put tree, but I don't think it's going to fit. Now that I got my text in there, I just come in here and I click scan, and you're going to see the text pop up over there. Yeah, so tree doesn't fit unless I didn't go large. That's fine. Now you're going to notice this one has a outline where the rest of these are all see-through. How do we change that? Pretty simple. We go to RF Tools, we grab the Smart Wrench, and we just right-click, and it will invisibilize it just for us like that. Okay? Pretty simple. So now we have labels to where they are, and it makes it just, it's a little bit cleaner. Anyway, that took care of that part of our inventory. If we pop back down here and we look at my backpack, I've gotten things prepped up, okay? So if we plan this out, we are able to get 18 total, 3, 6, 9, and then double that, 18 processors down here in this little server area, which is what I prepped my co-processing units for. However, I don't want to go ahead and go too crazy with manual crafting because crafting these storage units is a pain, these crafting storages. In order to craft a crafting storage, you need to craft crafting units, of course. Those are fairly simple. It's not too expensive. What is the pain is the storage components. I went with the 64 case. I don't know if I need more. I don't know if I need less. I probably will eventually at least change 2 of these over to 256 case. From what I understand, the higher the crafting storage, the more of the larger recipes you're able to process with auto crafting. So say that you wanted to smelt up 6,000 glass. I don't know. You would need a larger crafting storage as a buffer to hold that glass for you. Makes sense, I guess. I'm assuming that's how that works. But anyway, to make these, you have to have a 64K ME storage component, which requires you to make 3 16Ks. Each of those 16Ks requires 3 4Ks. So that's 12 4Ks that you need. And then the 4Ks each require a 1K, so that is 3 for the 12, so that's 36 1Ks that you need. And there's just a lot of sub-crafting, and it's a pain to do manually. So I want to get auto-crafting set up, so then we can set up the rest of those and be able to do the thing. So that's what I have going on here. I have 2 of these at least prepped for now, and we will see how we end up after all is said and done. So what we have going on here, let's clear this and this. So let's go ahead and clear out our stone bricks. That's where the crafting coprocessors are going to sit. And it helps if I do it correctly. So we're going to go ahead and do something like this. stone is going to be the crafting storage, and you are going to be the crafting monitor. It does have to be rectangular for it to work. Size, as far as I understand, doesn't matter, but it has to be an equal rectangle. Actually, I believe you can do this. It will still work, but you have to have it be a rectangle of sorts. You can't have any gaps or anything like that, okay? So there we go. We have a CPU, and that uses one channel. That's what I wanted to know. I didn't know how many channels these use. It's one total channel. So what we can do is we can come up here, one block space gap, and we can set up another one. So we can go here. We can actually get rid of this, and we can put the crafting storage there. And since that is rectangular, that is valid. The co-processing units, from what I understand, help make it so that you can process faster because they allow you to send recipes to multiple different machines at a time to process things. I think, I don't know 100% on that. But anyway, we have 2 processors set up ready to go for us. Now, the problem is we don't have the ability to actually process anything, to craft anything, because we don't have any assemblers. Molecular assemblers, pattern providers, these are the things that do the crafting for you. Pattern providers are like interfaces from refined storage. You can take those, you can put them onto a machine. So for example, our multi-servo press, I put a pattern provider on here and I give it the patterns of the plates. It'll put the plates in, take the plates, put them back into our inventory, bada bing, bada boom. And it's nice because the pattern providers are an input and an output. So the item can go back into the pattern provider, if I'm correct on that. And you don't have to worry about having an importer or an interface or anything to handle the item input like you do with refined storage. So that's pattern providers. Molecular assemblers they're take your interfaces from refined storage, because the interface itself can just be set up somewhere and do your auto crafts. For example, you want sugarcane to be processed, or actually I don't have any sugarcane. I ran out. Say I want to have crafting tables made, right? That's just a standard recipe. You put the 4 here, you get a crafting table out of it. I don't have to put that into a machine. It's just a standard craft. In refined storage, an interface itself can just do that. You don't have to have anything fancy. For applied energistics, though, you have to have what are called molecular assemblers. Molecular assemblers handle those crafting table recipes. Make sense? So, what we have over here, and I will link this in a comment. I will pin a comment for this. There is a fantastic guide that was put together by P75369 on Reddit. And it is for an assembler tree and or chandelier. If you want to hang it, you can hang it from the ceiling, or you can stack it up like a tree like what I have here. What this does is it allows you to max out the number of assemblers that you can put on a channel. Each assembler or each pattern provider, I don't remember which one. Either way, one of them is going to take up a channel. So we can have 32 of the, I believe it's the pattern providers. Those are going to use your channels. So we can have 32 pattern providers set up on one facing of a controller, right? So 32 assemblers or 32 pattern providers, but those pattern providers can push items multiple directions. So if you have this, say this is your pattern provider, you know what? Why am I doing this? I literally have pattern providers and molecular assemblers. So molecular assemblers can process recipes from multiple sides. So I can have a pattern provider push recipes in from here, or I can have them push into there from the side. Okay, so they're sided. Each one of these can hold 9, unlike refined. There's not upgraded versions. There's not like the iron one or things like that that come from like the expanded refined storage. Technically, I'm wrong on that because there is mega cells inside of this pack. And then there's mega pattern providers, which allow you to do, they're like 4 pattern providers in one, as far as I understand. But still, either way, the statement still stands. So what we want to do is we want to maximize the amount of molecular assemblers that we can set up on our pattern providers. Does that make sense? So we want to try and cover all 4 sides of our pattern providers. So that way we can craft as much as we can. We can have as much crafting space, and we can do the thing. Okay, so enough rambling by TheAndrata. Let's go ahead and get ourselves set up. So in order to do this, to set up this assembly tree, you are going to need 32 pattern providers. You're going to need 77 molecular assemblers. And if you wanted to get acceleration cards in each of those molecular assemblers, you're going to need a total of 385 acceleration cards. And it sounds like a lot, but they're really not that difficult to craft, especially since the Fluix crystals, you can just throw a stack of everything into water and get it done. It's really not that difficult or time consuming. And these really aren't that expensive in a Skyblock. In a regular pack or anything where you actually have to make the Certus quartz and everything like that, I can see this being a pain to have to craft at some point. But for now, we don't have to worry about it because we're in a Skyblock. We have infinite resources. Even after crafting all of these, I still have thousands of Certus quartz and everything. So I'm not concerned about it. So anyway, I have my Instagram, my guide open up on my other monitor over here, so I might be hopping back and forth between them because we're doing this live. I've only ever done this once before, and then I think that was an All the Mods 7 or something. I don't remember. Maybe something else. I don't remember. But yeah. Anyway, so what you want to do is you want to put a first things first. You need dense cable, and then off of that dense cable, you are going to put smart cable off of it, okay, 8 channels each. And then off of those, you're going to put in a cross pattern cable anchors, okay? We don't want these to connect over here. We are specifically forcing them to connect to the pattern providers, okay? So we don't want a connection made here. In the guide that's on Reddit and everything, there is a diagram of how channels will flow through this. If you really wanted to know how this is going to work, feel free to take a look at that, but I don't necessarily care, so we're going to set it up. So 4 corners, and then you're going to put one on each of the ends here. Like so. Okay. Then off of each of those, you're going to put a pattern provider. And you can see these ones lit up. Once they lit up, they then are going to be able to connect to the other ones. As soon as I put my pattern providers here, that's going to bridge the gap, and it's going to allow this to set up. As of now, if you take note, we do not have any channels used. Molecular assemblers do not take channels. However, they don't really do anything if you don't have patterns to put into them. So in each of our gaps here, we're going to go ahead and put a pattern provider. Now that that is bridged, you're going to see we are using a channel. So we're going to go ahead and fill in all of the gaps. Like so. And stage 1, level 1 of our tree is complete. I'm going to go ahead and go in while we have these available to us. So we're going to go ahead and put the assembler cards or the accelerator cards into these. Just makes them faster. While you're setting this up, this is the time to do this. Then you don't have to worry about how do I get into it? How do I get it all set up? If you're going to do it right. Set up all of the accelerating cards now before you do anything else. Okay. All right, so that is level 1 of your assemblers. Now we have access to a bunch of patterns. If I take a look inside of my terminal, by the way, I did make the universal terminal, and I put all of the different types of terminals in there. There is what's called the extended pattern access terminal. We're going to talk about that. But if we come here, there's a button inside of here, which is awesome to open the next terminal. So I don't need to key bind all of these different terminals. I can just come in here and I can click inside of here. So this is our pattern encoding terminal. This is how we make patterns. And then this is our pattern access terminal. Okay. This allows you to search by pattern, provider, or output, and you can search by items that are getting input. And you can highlight where that pattern provider is in the world. If you take a look at here, we have 12 molecular assemblers set up right here, which is pretty cool. Could I not name these molecular assemblers? If I wanted to, maybe I should. Would that not be or is it the pattern providers I can name? Would that not be wise to name this Southwest tree so that I know where they are? I can highlight them though. Because there's the nameplate or the name inscriber name press, which actually doesn't have a recipe, so I can't. Yeah, the name press. Right-click the Certus quartz cutting knife and insert an ingot of metal. You will then have to type the name you wish to write onto the plate, then simply extract the finish. Yeah, but there's no recipe for this name press, so I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work. I know that there is the labeler from Integrated Dynamics. Could we make this and name these things? The labeler is a fantastic little piece of kit. That requires an actual ink sac, though, which I don't have. All right, forget it. We're not going to worry about it. Moving on. All right, scrolling down on my computer so I can see phase 2. Phase 2, we're going to take our assemblers. We're going to place them on top of those cable anchors, like so. Then, does anything go in the middle there? No, it looks like the middle... Hang on, I got to zoom in on this thing. The middle looks to remain empty the whole time. Okay, so once we have that, we're going to go ahead and pattern providers on all of the assemblers. So that way they're all, they got multiple sides touching. So we come over here. There we go. Then we go ahead and accelerate each of these. Good. Then we can come down and we have one more layer that we are going to do. Now this one is going to have the pattern providers. We'll put those first. And then the molecular assembler goes in the middle there. 5 of those. And then finally, we do have some work we have to do at the bottom here. Okay. Bottom layer is going to be the same as what we did on layer 2. So we're going to come under here. And I'm thinking I have a lot of molecular assemblers set up left over, don't I? And we're going to go down here and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I do that backwards? Do I need... Oh, there we go. So why do I have so many molecular assemblers set up left over? Cover the outside and assemblers. Ah, that's why. Okay, cool. So there we go. So now we have that going. We need to go ahead and accelerate these. And then we cover the outside. We do it all again with assemblers. So that way we have everything covered up. So outside meaning all of this. So we do like each of these pattern providers gets another assembler attached to it. And before I get too crazy, let's go ahead and accelerate all these. Y'all are probably thinking this is overkill, but you know how TheAndrata is with auto crafting. I love having auto crafting available for literally everything. So if I set this up, and I'm actually going to set up another one of these, we'll put another one on the other side. We should have more than enough patterns or more than enough space to be able to craft anything that we want, at least in this base crafts, right? So we set these up all around the corners. And then we accelerate all these. And I hope that this is going to work. And I hope that it's helpful to some people because it's definitely helpful to me. A lot of times I will go back and watch my own videos to see how I set things up. So being able to do this will help me in the future see, okay, what in the world did TheAndrata do to get that going? Because I know I've done it before. I just don't remember how I've done it before. So I know it's not really the most engaging watching me put these cable or these cards and stuff in there, but hopefully you'll see the benefit of it at the end of this when we actually get some patterns going. This actually expands out much larger than I thought it was going to. I should have moved it, but that's okay. This is going to be fast too. I'm going to love this. Okay, so then we're down here now, so we can go ahead and place these ones. And it's an RGB tree. Okay, so then last set, and then we have one more set that we have to place. I keep standing on things and it's messing me up. And if we did it all correctly, we will not have any more molecular assemblers. So we'll know if we got it all, if my inventory is out of stuff. Same thing goes with the pattern cards here. I kind of feel like I'm going to have extra 6, 7, 8. I feel like I'm going to have extra acceleration cards. No, because each one of these is 5, right? I do feel like I missed one. And see, that's the thing. That's the pain part, because now I'm going to have to figure out where did I miss a molecular assembler at. But I only have 4 left. But we got everything else on, and we should see that this is now utilizing all 32 channels. And check out our tree. That is our assembler tree. I am going to have to go through, and this is why I said make sure that you do your molecular assemblers ahead of time as you're working, because you're going to find somewhere that you end up not having one. And that one is you're going to end up putting a recipe in there, and you're going to be like, why is this taking forever? But I have no way to know other than going through each of these to figure out which one did I miss. That's a pain. Anyway, I'll deal with that later. So we have 4 extra, which means I only put 1 inside of one of them. Lovely. Anyway, so now that we have access to that, we can go ahead and actually start crafting, auto-crafting things. So let's get a basic auto-crafting going, and then I can go ahead and actually start setting up crafts for this. So the first thing generally that you want to go ahead and auto-craft and set up is patterns, because you need patterns to auto-craft. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to set up a recipe to make patterns for us. So you make these blank patterns, come into your pattern provider, press R on your recipe. It's going to put it over here, and it's going to say, hey, you get blank patterns, but like they're not real. I can't take those out of my inventory. What I need to do is encode the pattern. You have a couple different options here. You can clear it. You can allow or disallow substitutions. In this recipe, I want the exact things to be used. So I'm not going to allow substitutions, and we're not using any fluids. So we take this crafting pattern. We can press P to view what is the pattern, and we can press G if we want to learn about it and everything. But we can take this and we can go into our pattern access terminal, and we can go ahead and say, hey, adjacent to different machines. Look, molecular assembler with acceleration card of 4. That's where I got an issue at. I can tell that, because one has 5, one has 4. That's where I need one of those. Anyway, we can go ahead and place this in here. I don't know why this is showing up like this. That's interesting. You know what? That actually will make it easy, though, for me to find this one is one of these. It's probably the internal one. Oh, look, there's one. Haha, found one. That was missing one. Now, if we go in here, it should have cleaned that up. These must be the ones that are missing some. Anyway, so now if we come in here and we say, hey, sir, I want patterns. Can you make me a pattern? Can you make me 2 patterns? It's going to say, sure, but buddy, I'm out of quartz glass. I don't have any of that. I'm going to be like, oh man, good idea. We should probably make some quartz glass. So I come over here into the system and I say, hey, I want quartz glass too. You can substitute, but I don't want to use limestone glass. Why would I want to allow limestone glass? I want regular glass. So we come over here and we say, I want regular glass to be our recipe for this. And no substitutions allowed. We say, bam, we got that. I am going to have to cook up some glass, though. So one thing that we can do is teach the system how to make glass, but we'll worry about that next episode because that's a whole different type of recipe, and I need to get some stuff set up in order to be able to do that appropriately. But we come back over here to our terminal, and we go ahead and set this up here. From what I understand, when you are setting this up, you want to stack your patterns vertically, and then vertically. That way you can distribute the work between one of those molecular assemblers that you have, since we have so many of them. But now I can come in here and I can say, hey, those patterns, you remember those? I need some. So I come in here and I say I need patterns, and it's going to say, sure, buddy, I got you. And there we go. Patterns. Put those into there. And you notice how fast that was because we have everything accelerated. I could say that I wanted more patterns if I wanted to. I don't have the resources to make more patterns, so we're not going to be concerned about it or anything. But yeah, we've got patterns available to us, and we have auto crafting set up. This is where my favorite part of Minecraft comes in, because we can now tell the system, hey, I want all this stuff, make it for me. I can automate this. I can say put in Fluix dust or Fluix crystals, and we'll get out Fluix dust. I can do the same thing with all of these item frame or these processors. Put the item into the barrel, it'll process, we'll get out. Instead of using the wormhole, I can have an importer set up down here, and it will import the items. Bada bing, bada boom, we're good to go, right? Set up a chest, we're chilling. So anyway, that is a very basic, I mean, I don't know if it's basic. This is actually quite complicated, if I do say so myself. And I'm proud of the setup that we have going on here. But it is AE2 assemblers and processors. So with that being said, in between episodes, I'm going to go ahead and make autocraft these things so I can get the rest of our processor set up down there. Because what's going to happen is if I request too many recipes at the same time, if I need it to craft too many things, it'll tell me can't do it. We have no essentially RAM, I guess you could say, or there's not enough CPU power for this, or not enough RAM. I don't know how the crafting storages are essentially like RAM, and then the coprocessors are your CPU cores. So without enough RAM, we can't craft the recipes because it's got to be able to store the information. And then without enough processing units, our processor's not fast enough, essentially. So we want more of these. We want more cores to our processor. Right now, we're running off of 2 cores and 128K of RAM. We want to speed that up, essentially. So that's where we're at. So I'm going to go ahead and make these in between episodes and get the rest of these guys set up. And then I'm going to, maybe I'll set up another tree over there, and then that would be like way more than enough storage than we would probably need for the rest of this pack for a tree. And then we can leave those over there. I'd like to plant more orange trees over here and kind of sort of blend that in. I'm going to see how that looks. Anyway, all that being said, if you enjoyed today's episode, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, tips, tricks, suggestions, or anything like that. Please let me know. Yeah, anyway, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.